happening in 2020. You know, we couldn't do what we do without the help of the Friends of Revival Today and Brother Jonathan and Sister Adalis Shuttlesworth, who are feeding over 1,200 kids each and every day with good food and the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's been a crazy year, but God has been good. We've seen Him do some incredible things in reaching out and providing life-saving hope to the least of these. And for those of us here in the United States, you know, we've experienced a lot of ups and downs through these COVID shutdowns and economic crises, and for some it's been a blessing in disguise. For others it's brought a lot of hardship with loss of jobs and downturns in business, but through it all you have been faithful and you have put the Lord first. Thank you so much for considering the poor above even ourselves. We've seen an increase of about 40% ministry this year. Over 20 million meal servings have gone out from Feed the Hungry to feed the hungry, to strengthen the church, and to reach the lost in 24 nations, including here in the United States. Hundreds of thousands of families have been able to get their prayer answered when they say, Lord, give us this day our daily bread. You've been there to provide life-sustaining, good, healthy meals to feed them and their families. Thank you for helping reach out around the world again, and God bless you.
Welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as Adalis and I are here to announce our next big move, biggest move we've ever made for Revival Today. Behind me is a building that will look nothing like it looks right now when we finish. We're on just under 5 acres of property that we've just finished purchasing, which is going to give us the ability to have a state-of-the-art studio. And in that studio, something I've wanted to have for a long time, which is a live studio audience. It's going to be a 500-seat building when we finish with it that'll give us the ability to touch the world with our broadcasts. This facility is going to give me the ability to do what I've really missed, which is having you in the audience to minister to personally. Obviously, you can't beat the reach of digital media. We touch the whole world every day, but we have the ability now with this to lay hands on people, pray for people that are sick, a place where you can bring people that are drug addicted, demonized, and really give them the ministry that you can't get on YouTube and Facebook. I can't wait. And then beyond that, we're going to announce the launch of Revival Today Church. We're going to hold Holy Ghost church services every Sunday morning. I'll be there most Sunday mornings. This isn't going to be like some little side project. We're going to give you and your family a place you can go that's a soul-winning church that values the presence of God, where you can get prayed for and ministered to, where there's not a critical race theory lecture or a mask and social distancing 10 minutes of no talking to anybody in the lobby. None of that. We're going to have a place where you're free and where you're free to experience the presence of God.
I'm incredibly excited because I know a lot of you have been asking about different meetings and events that we couldn't have during COVID, and trust me, we tried so hard. So this really frees us up to do everything that we want to do with healing meetings and women's conferences. So I am so looking forward to seeing you and having you be a part of this.
So I want to give you a twofold call to action. Number one, if your church turned in to a liberal nightmare in 2020 and you need a place to go, I would be happy to have you at our church. Number two, if you are a partner or a friend of our ministry, Revival Today, this is the biggest move by far we've ever made. By the time we finish remodeling that building, the acquiring of the property, you're looking at a couple of M's. So if you would stand with us now, I'll say thank you ahead of time. Pray and ask the Holy Ghost what He would have you to do. You've been so generous, and I thank you ahead of time for your extreme generosity. I know I speak on behalf of my wife, everybody here at Revival Today, when I say we love you very much. And now I can say I look forward to seeing you face to face here at the new home of Revival Today.
Hey.
Yes, hello, please. We are Chinese people.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Check the Market. We're back. Supposed to be back yesterday, but I extended my trip to Florida by 1 day. Good morning, Ninja Buddha. Michael McLean from the 502. Kenny Ticonderoga. Is that how you say that? Ticonderoga. Ty Samuel from South Africa. Lyric. Andrew, good morning. Patrick Monks, good morning. From Maryland, Bethany Franz, good morning. Make sure you share the broadcast. Miley Newman, good morning. Welcome to Check the Market. We're going to be talking about China today. I don't know why the news was full of China stuff this morning, but it was interesting. So we'll go over that today. Look into it, see what's going on in China. Lots of good stuff. Good morning, Sharon from Scotland. How's it going there? What's up, Michael Copa? Hey, I looked into that Iron Chef. I'm sorry, not Iron Chef, Tattooed Chef. It's pretty interesting stuff. But I don't know if I would be ready to invest at this point. How's everything going there in Montreal? We'll get into it. Let's talk about China. Let's see the first article. 2021, buy a Tesla with 1 Bitcoin. 2031, buy a Tesla with 1 Doge. That means I can buy exactly 37 Teslas in 2031. Market's about to open too. Let's take a look here. See what's happening. Just about. Yep, and it's open. Where was the ding, 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 ding? Ah. All right. Stocks are, there we go. Just 33 seconds too late. Stock futures.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Are flat. Yep, stock futures are flat. NASDAQ closed above 15,000 yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty good day in the markets. Let's see the first article. We'll get into it. U.S. to restart oil leasing with offshore auction this year. President Biden paused the oil and gas leasing program in January pending an analysis of its impacts on the environment and value to taxpayers. It seems there is some value. The Biden administration said on Tuesday it would take steps to restart the federal oil and gas leasing program in the next week and plans to hold a Gulf of Mexico auction as soon as October, court papers showed. The move comes 2 months after the U.S. Interior Department first said it would comply with the June 15th federal judge's order blocking its months-long pause in oil and gas leading on federal lands and water. That order was a blow to a key White House effort to address climate change by reining in fossil fuel extraction. Continue. U.S. President Joe Biden paused the oil and gas leasing program in January, pending an analysis of its impacts on the environment and value to taxpayers. Interior said in a statement that it's still conducting that review. Yeah, they're going to have to spend a couple million more on that review. The filing to a Louisiana federal district court on Tuesday was in response to a motion by the state of Louisiana and 12 other states from earlier this month that sought to compel Interior to restart the leasing program and to show why it should not be held in contempt for failing to comply with the order issued weeks earlier. Continue. Interior has expanded significant agency resources, including many hundreds of employee hours, preparing to hold oil and gas lease sales, the brief said. The agency will take procedural steps by the end of the month to prepare for a sale of oil leases in the Gulf of Mexico. It seems that they're going to want to try and bring down the oil prices again by opening up oil and gas leases in the Gulf of Mexico. That's good news for everybody holding energy stocks. Next. There he is, our very favorite SEC chief, Gary Gensler. Look at that. Man. The lighting in that picture is just perfect. SEC chief warns clock is ticking on delisting Chinese stocks. So it looks like the Americans are also cracking down on, thank you very much. Looks like the Americans are also cracking down on Chinese stocks. Chinese are cracking down on US stocks, all other. What do they call that non-playable character, right? NPC? He literally looks like an NPC. With a crooked tie. There you have it. Gary Gensler, SEC chairman. And a crypto hater. That's why we don't like him here at Check the Market. He's the chairman. The SEC chairman. Oh man. Back to the article. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler has a warning for hundreds of Chinese companies that have raised billions of dollars in U.S. markets. Submit to more scrutiny soon or get kicked out. In a Tuesday interview, he pledged to strictly enforce a 3-year deadline that requires Chinese firms to permit inspections of their financial audits. If businesses refuse, their shares could be delisted from the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ as soon as 2024. The path is clear. The clock is ticking. The tough stance would seem to squash the hopes of some on Wall Street that Gensler might drag his feet in implementing the mandate from Congress that gives Beijing more time to strike a deal with Washington regulators that allows the gravy train, is that what it is? Yes, look at that, perfect, of Chinese stock sales to continue. They've been lucrative for big banks, exchanges, and asset managers. Continue. In his comments, Gensler laid out how he plans to deal with a multitude of tricky investors' protection issues involving China. The conflicts, which have festered for almost 2 decades, have come to the fore in recent months as the Chinese government reined in prominent companies that trade on American exchanges, causing massive drops in their share prices and rattling investors. The actions prompted the SEC last month to suspend new initial public offerings of China-based companies until they more clearly detail the potential pitfalls that shareholders face. On Tuesday, Gensler said he expects the same level of transparency from every Chinese firm that sells stock in the US, including those that already trade in New York. Investors need full and fair disclosure, adding that the agency was looking especially for information on regulatory risks the various political risks that companies in China could encounter, which is a ton. Ton of risk right now in China with those stocks. Those enhanced disclosures are likely to come by next year, Gensler said. He declined to say what consequences firm would face for not complying. Good morning, Naveed and Michael. Welcome back to Check the Market. We took a little break, but now we're back, and it's better than ever. We got a brand new palm tree right here. Look at that. Beautiful.
Oh, that's hot.
It really is.
That's hot.
Next. Eyewear maker Warby Parker. I always come across their ads on YouTube to go public via direct listing on New York Stock Exchange. Are those good glasses, Nick? It's one of those like companies that's been advertising on Instagram and all those places. It's an Insta company. It is pretty trendy, right? Yeah. So they're So they're going public via direct listing on the New York Stock Exchange. Let's see the article. Eyewear company Warby Parker on Tuesday filed paperwork with U.S. regulators for direct listing on the New York Stock Exchange, revealing a 53% surge in revenue for the first half of 21. Man, that's pretty good. The company, whose existing investors include Tiger Global Management and General Catalyst, did not disclose the number of Class A common shares its stockholders were looking to sell. It will not receive any proceeds from the sale of such shares. The New York-based firm, known for its fashionable eyewear starting at $95, was valued at $3 billion after a $245 million funding round in 2020. The Wall Street Journal had reported, there's the link in case you want to take a look at it. Continue. The co-founders of Warby, who were classmates at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, got the idea for the company in 2008 after co-chief executive officer Dave Gilboa found the cost of replacing eyeglasses lost on a Southeast Asia backing trip to be too high. Founded later in 2010, the company now has an active consumer base that exceeds 2 million as rising usage of smartphones, tablets, and other devices increases the need for vision correction. They have that app that you can download, right, where it'll show you what it looks like on your face? But they started that, right? I think so. I think they're the ones that started that. A direct listing like Warby's allows companies to list their stock on public exchanges by sidestepping a costly and time-consuming initial public offering. The Securities and Exchange Commission approved a NASDAQ proposal to allow companies to raise capital through direct listings in May. Companies have not raised any capital through such listing procedures so far, so it might be the first one. Continue. Arizona Group Inc.'s agreement with Taiwan, TSMC, which has been on our stocks to research list before, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, aimed at attracting more chip companies. Looks like Arizona is booming. The place to be, Arizona, Texas. Continue. An Arizona Economic Development Group on Tuesday said it had made a deal with Taiwanese economic development officials aimed at making the U.S. state more attractive to Taiwan's semiconductor industry as the world's biggest chip maker eyes a $12 billion plant in Phoenix. The Taiwan USA Industrial Cooperation Promotion Office, which is supported by Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs, signed an agreement with economic development officials in the greater Phoenix area to find ways to bring more of Taiwan's vast semiconductor industry to the metro area. The move comes as Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, the world's largest chip company, makers semiconductors for Apple and many others, has said it wants to build a plant in Phoenix. Continue. Phoenix City Council gave city officials the go-ahead. The TSMC might build as many as 6 plants in the area. Man. We should head to Arizona and buy all the land right now that they want to buy to put those plants on. That's right. The Phoenix area is already home to a major Intel Corp chip factory, and NXP Semiconductors and ON Semiconductor Corporation also have factories and offices there. Continue. So Chris Camacho, chief executive of Greater Phoenix Economic Council, says we're unapologetically pursuing to become the top global destination for semiconductors and the semiconductor supply chain. Good news for Phoenix. Next. Bitcoin mining golden age shows higher profits and demand for more infrastructure. Where's Bitcoin at right now? It was surging this weekend again. It was briefly over 50,000. Let's take a look, see where it's at right now. 47,000. Yeah, it was briefly over 50,000 this weekend. Looking good. Doge, 28 cents. Ethereum, 31.53. Let's see where XRP's at. 115. Back down again. XRP did well this weekend too. 128 was the high. Crypto looking good. Let's see the article. What's up, Gerald? Welcome. Let's see the article. Bitcoin crested above 50,000 on Monday, benefiting from simultaneous supply chain shortages and a crackdown from Chinese regulators, putting Bitcoin mining on par with profits near the coin's April all-time high. Now, building infrastructure for the energy-intensive business poses the greatest challenge for companies and individuals hoping to reap big money. That means finding cheap and reliable energy sources, striking deals, and building out mining facilities. Throughout the summer, we saw a lot of fear and uncertainty. People were selling, and now we're seeing inflows again. A lot of firms and investors are looking to get long in what we anticipate to be a very active fall. Continue. One major reason behind the price halving of Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency at the beginning of the summer, came from concerns around its energy-intensive impact on the environment, more so because of the Chinese crackdown, and less because of the energy-intensive impact. I don't understand why they have to sneak that stuff in there. Following the trend, Chinese regulators banned cryptocurrency mining, causing a large portion of the industry. I doubt there's anybody out there that's investing in Bitcoin that thinks to themselves, I'm going to sell Bitcoin because the energy-intensive impact on the environment. I'd love to meet that person who sold their Bitcoin because of that. You got to hold, causing a large portion of the industry, at least temporarily, to cut operations. While the immediate action to the news created uncertainty and major selling pressure, the crackdown reduced competition for mining Bitcoin. As the cryptocurrency's price recovered in mid-July, less intense competition meant higher profitability for remaining participants. At its current price, profits from mining Bitcoin are close to all-time highs. We're looking at companies like Mara and RIOT. Those are companies that that have bought mining equipment for Bitcoin recently. And RIOT, both Mara and RIOT, I like both of those companies. Continue. That's according to the Hash Price Index, an indicator created and tracked by the crypto mining analytics company Luxor Technologies. I can't help but think that we're going to look back on these days as wildly profitable for miners. We definitely are in a golden age of crypto mining, said Gerson Martinez, a former derivatives trader and market maker for Morgan Stanley. Martinez left the bank in 2013 to work in education and nonprofit. Since 2014, he's held an ever-increasing interest in Bitcoin. He owns the asset and also mines it through retail Bitcoin-focused firm called Compass Mining. Continue. There's Bitcoin. There's the 50,000 barrier, which held on Monday. But we're seeing cracks. 100,000 next. Then off to 4.5 million per Bitcoin. Continue. Cathie Wood's stake in 17.5 billion Harry Sloan SPAC hits 11%. I saw this article, and so this was interesting. Let's see the article. Cathie Wood's ARK Investment Management has now a nearly 11% stake in blank check company backed by former Hollywood executive Harry Sloan. ARK's daily trading statement shows it added another 1.2 million shares of Soaring Eagle Acquisition Corp. That takes the firm's total holdings to nearly 18.5 million shares across the flagship ARK Innovation ETF and the ARK Genomic Revolution ETF, which has been on our list of stocks to research. According to data compiled by Bloomberg, the special purpose acquisition company run by Sloan agreed in May to a $17.5 billion merger with cell engineering company Ginkgo Bioworks. The deal is expected to close in the third quarter, at which point Ginkgo's stock will be listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol DNA, according to an August 11th statement. Continue. ARK has been expanding its position in recent days, meaning Soaring Eagle joins the ranks of companies in which it has a 10% or more stake. As of May, that list extended to around 30 names. Concentration worries have dogged ARK since its ETF surged in 2020, triggering inflows worth tens of billions of dollars to its small lineup. Since its thematic strategies target niche sectors like artificial intelligence and space travel, there are a limited number of stocks in which the cash can be deployed. In March, the firm ditched clauses in its ETF paperwork that capped how much of each fund's assets could be invested in a single company. At the same time, it introduced language saying its products may invest in some SPACs. Continue. The outsized stake in Soaring Eagle may limit its flexibility in reducing the investment. Such a large holding means it'll be categorized as an insider. So they know something that we might not, so that might be one that you want to look at. Can you go back to the headline of this article? So it's right there, SRNG. Soaring Eagle Acquisition Corp, SRNG, and it'll be listed as DNA once it's done. So there you have it. Might be something to research. Ginkgo Biotechnology, Biosciences. Next. This China skeptic concedes tech stocks are cheap as chips, but warns against holding for the long term. Because of all the uncertainty that's coming out of China, it might be good to day trade these stocks, maybe even swing trade them, but it's not a long-term hold. Let's see the article. It looks like traders think there's some bargains among Chinese internet stocks. Pinduoduo jumped 22% on Tuesday as the Chinese e-commerce group pledged $1.5 billion in future earnings to charity, following Tencent in making sizable donation as President Xi Jinping cracks down on the business sector. It wasn't the only China stock that surged. JD jumped 14% after reporting stronger than forecast revenue and earning an investment from star fund manager Cathie Wood. Tencent Music jumped up 12.75% TME. George Magnus, the former chief economist at UBS and the author of Red Flags, Why Xi Jinping's China is in Jeopardy, concedes traders may have a point in bidding up these stocks. Continue. On mean reversion criteria, these techs and related stocks are now cheap as chips, but they should be for trading only and not for a pension or long-term portfolio. If many of these firms are being brought to political and regulatory heel, they shouldn't trade as growth stocks, in my opinion. The valuation shift should be permanent. Magnus authored a piece on Xi's crackdown for the London-based SOAS China Institute, in which he said everything about Xi's China suggests a craving for control and Leninist discipline that are not compatible with good economic outcomes. He agrees that Chinese authorities have reason to tackle inequality, but says to do so effectively, China will have to do more than crack down on the super rich. Continue. The government would have to ensure that tax receipts raised would go directly to other less well-off households, including migrant workers in urban areas without urban registration, and not into government coffers or other projects of little value to the majority of citizens. Otherwise, it would not be possible for lower-income households to consume more and save less, and in so doing, become more mobile geographically and job-wise. The rise in the gig economy is even more pronounced in China than the US, where informal employment accounts for nearly 60% of jobs. This low-wage, insecure job situation makes China's inequality issue so important, he says, especially... Alright, whatever. Continue. The People's Bank of China vowed to stabilize the supply of credit and boost the amount of money for smaller businesses, and the country's third-largest container port reopened after shutting for COVID-19. Next article. Chinese factories. Man, the China news is just...
China.
China.
China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China.
Chinese factories are having labor pains. We can hardly find any workers. Continue. Labor shortages are materializing across China as young people shun factory jobs and more migrant workers stay home, offering a possible preview of larger challenges ahead as the workforce ages and shrinks. If you ever taken a look at the Chinese population pyramid, I don't think that China has, unless they take in a ton of migrant workers, their population pyramid does not look good. With global demand for Chinese goods surging this year, factory owners say they are struggling to fill jobs that make everything from handbags to cosmetics. Some migrant workers are worried about catching COVID-19 in cities or factories despite China's low caseload. Other young people are gravitating towards service industry jobs that pay more or are less demanding. The trend echoes similar labor market mismatches in the US, where some employers are finding it hard to hire enough workers, even though millions of people who lost jobs during the pandemic remain unemployed. But China's problem also reflects longer-term demographic shifts, including a shrinking labor pool, that are legacies of the country's decades-long one-child policy, which was formally abandoned in 2016, and I would say a little too late. Continue. Those trends pose a serious threat to China's potential long-term growth rate. They will also make it harder for China to keep supplying the world with cheap manufactured goods, potentially adding to global inflationary pressures. Bring the jobs back to the US. China has long exhausted its demographic dividend, said some economist at Standard Chartered. Continues. Chartered. Continue. This guy, who runs a cosmetics factory in the southern city of Guangzhou, with about 50 workers, hasn't been able to scale up production this year, despite rising demand, mainly because the factory has struggled to hire and retain staff, in particular people under 40. His factory offers the equivalent rate of about $3.90 an hour, which is above market in addition to free meals and accommodation, but he has attracted few young applicants. Continue. He said the factory can't afford to boost salaries in large part because of higher raw material prices. The other option would be to increase prices for overseas buyers if they accept them. Unlike our generation, young people's attitudes towards work have changed. They can fall back on their parents and don't have much pressure to make ends meet. A lot of them didn't come to the factory to work, but to look for boyfriends or girlfriends. Man, China's got some serious issues. China's shortfall in factory labor comes as it grapples with the opposite problem in another part of its economy. Too many workers for white-collar professional jobs. More than 9 million students, a record, are graduating from college this year, aggravating the structural mismatch in China's labor market, economists say. I guess we can keep going then. That's a lot of slides in this article. Basically, China has a problem. Can you guys look up population pyramid for China and put that up? Stock market samurai, how's it going? You bought XRP on the dip last night. XRP is a good investment, in my opinion. That's really what it seems like, Kevin. Like all across the world, people just don't want to work anymore. Just want to become Instagram models. Did you find it? Let's look at that. There's not a lot of younger population that'll make up for. I mean, the largest is 30 to 34. Second largest is 50 to 54. So that does not look good for China there. You want to have it looking actually like a pyramid. Yeah, look at that for 2050. So when the older population retires, the younger generation won't be able to keep up with the demand for that. That's why I'm not 100% sure when they say that this is going to be the Chinese century. Unless they have mass immigration coming to China, I don't think that this is going to be a Chinese century. That was in 1970 versus 2030 projected. So there you have it. Is China a good investment right now? I'm not too sure anymore with everything, all the crackdowns and everything. Maybe for day trading, but I don't know if long-term Chinese companies are a good investment. Next article. Mark Cuban slams SEC Chair Gensler over investor protection, says SEC rules near impossible to follow. Mark Cuban standing up for regular investors. Kofi, how's it going? I'm going to call you after the broadcast. Let's see the article. The chairman of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler, has repeatedly said the commission's main focus is investor protection. Reiterating this goal, he tweeted Tuesday, "The spirit of the law is about protecting investors. Our rigorous enforcement regime is about following the facts and the law, wherever they may lead, on behalf of investors and working families." So Gary Gensler is your father when it comes to the stock market. And you're going to do as he says, and you're going to follow the rules. Shark Tank star and the owner of the NBA team Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, called Gensler out. "This is such BS. You didn't start the BS. Please don't continue it," he tweeted. "If you're working on behalf of investors, you make it easy for questions by investors and business people to be asked and answered. You make it near impossible. Those who can't afford lawyers can only guess." Continue. There's the tweet. Mark Cuban taking shots at Gary Gensler. I think if there was a boxing match between those two, it would definitely be Mark Cuban that wins. No doubt. I don't think that Gary Gensler would even show up. He would just sneak out the back door somewhere. Continue. In the same Twitter thread, Gensler also wrote, If someone asks a lawyer, accountant, or advisor if something is over the line, maybe it's time to step back from the line. Going right up to the edge of a rule or searching for some ambiguity in the text or a footnote may not be consistent with the law and its purpose. Yeah, but what if the laws aren't, what if the laws are stupid? The SEC chairman added, this includes deceptive conduct by private funds, offering or accounting frauds, insider trading, market manipulation, failures to act in retail customers' best interest. They should ask Nancy Pelosi about this. Reporting violations, best execution, and fiduciary violations, or any other form of misconduct. Cuban replied, how about making the lines bright and clear so people know what the rules are? The problem is that people are looking for gray areas. It's that there rarely are defined rules. Regulation through litigation traps all the people who can't afford a lawyer, accountant, or advisor. Continue. The billionaire investor additionally noted, Shark Tank star further tweeted, when you talk about stepping over the line, take a look at the SEC first. Yeah, they're always the first ones to step over the line. The billionaire investor additionally noted, ask any retail investor to define insider trading. Your lawyers rarely agree. How can they know? Why won't the SEC honor the right to a jury trial? The risk doesn't leave the system is your best line, Gary. The risk in dealing with the SEC is always because of your system. Ask yourself, why are there thousands of lawyers at the SEC? Lawyers want to litigate in every business. If you need a lawyer to fix a problem, you have a big problem. Why doesn't the SEC have thousands of people working to make sure there isn't a need for thousands of lawyers and make it easy for people to invest and not have all these rules and regulations and everything to protect the average investor? The average investor knows what kind of risks there are that goes into investing. Continue. Second largest US mortgage lender to take Bitcoin payments. I thought this was very interesting. Continue. United Wholesale Mortgage, the second largest mortgage lender in the US, announced it had plans to accept cryptocurrency as payment for mortgage loans last week. The company expects to accept Bitcoin as soon as Q3 and is looking into possibly accepting Ether and other cryptocurrencies as well. They should add Doge to the mix. However, it's unclear if the company will hold the cryptocurrency collected as is. United Wholesale Mortgage will start taking crypto payments sometime in the Q3, according to statements made during its earnings call last week. The company will start taking Bitcoin payments first and is researching in consideration of adding Ether and other cryptocurrencies later. We've evaluated the feasibility and we're looking forward to being the first mortgage company in America to accept cryptocurrency to satisfy mortgage payments. They're getting in on it. They know it's a great investment. Continue. Continue. The company, which emerged as a result of an SPAC merger in January, is not directly connected to customers. Instead, it uses brokers to link customers and loans. The company didn't explain if the cryptocurrency received will be kept as such or exchanged for fiat money. Not the car, fiat currency. Next. We had some good news coming out of the Treasury. They will not target non-brokers like miners, even if the crypto tax provision isn't amended. So that's a tax provision that was put in the infrastructure bill by the Senate. And it had people worried because the language is so ambiguous. But the Treasury said that they will not target non-brokers like miners. So that's good news that comes out of the Treasury. It does sound like Cuban is getting tired of cutting checks to his lawyers. Next. Desperate U.S. cities pitch Wall Street-style sign-on bonuses. The labor constraints jeopardize essential services such as trash pickup and exacerbating shortages in demanding jobs like 9/11 dispatchers that predated the COVID-19 crisis. I thought this was interesting. Somebody pointed out to me last week because I was whining about my trash not getting picked up. It's because they don't have enough drivers. I didn't even make the connection until that point. But they're getting serious sign-on bonuses. Let's see the article. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, landing a job with the police force or fire department may get you a sign-on bonus of $15,000, close to what some Wall Street bankers might expect. Despite such incentives, about 1 in 10 local government jobs remain unfilled. Wait times on the city's non-emergency police line are upwards of 45 minutes. That's crazy. And several bus routes are cut each week. Thousands of cities, towns, and states across the U.S. are facing the most acute labor shortages in recent memories. Regional governments have an even tougher time than businesses because they can't compete with private sector wages, can rarely offer remote work, and they faced a larger wave of early retirements during the pandemic. As a result, about 780,000 government jobs remain missing compared with pre-pandemic levels, led by state and local positions. The labor constraints jeopardize essential services from trash pickup to healthcare and exacerbate shortages in demanding jobs like 9/11 dispatchers. Continue. There's a graph that shows the payrolls have stalled. New Mexico is among the states with the biggest losses of local government workers. Albuquerque, population 560,000, held an online job fair last year for public safety positions, and 3 people showed up. I wonder how much they spent on that fair. Continue. Now we're pushing for a recovery, but to do that, we need people filling our vacancies. Mayor Tim Keller said in an August press conference where he and half a dozen city department heads pleaded with the public. The city's animal welfare chief even brought a puppy to lure potential job applicants. Oh, man. The U.S. labor market remains down about 5.7 million jobs from February 2020, with the majority of those missing in the private sector, but the pace of recovery is slower and patchier for government jobs. Continue. Did it show, do you have that graph that was in there, in that article, that shows the states that have the most issues with it? Wow. In Virginia Beach, they're offering a $1,000 sign-on bonus to work at any of the oceanfront hotels. The Waffle House near my house was also offering a $1,000 sign-on bonus, and they actually close. It's supposed to be 24 hours, but they have drastically cut back their hours because they can't find workers. That Waffle House right off the Meadowlands exit, Nick. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. New Mexico, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Oregon. Oregon. I'm not surprised that those states are on there. I would be surprised if Texas, Florida, and Arizona was on there. Continue. I guess that's it. There you have it. Sign-on bonuses for the city. Tulsa, Oklahoma is doing $100 sign-on bonuses. But, yeah, they should increase those. Let's go over our stocks to research for today. Low, I didn't find any low. I'm still researching some. I'll get back to you on those. Medium Agco, Agco Corp, AGCO, ticker symbol. Agco is one of the world's largest manufacturers of agricultural equipment and related replacement parts. The company's products include Challenger, Fendt, GSI, Massey Ferguson, and Valtra. It produces all sorts of tractors and tools for farming and agriculture. Had a great earnings beat in July and has one of the lowest PE ratios and price-to-book ratios in the industry. Has seen really good earnings per share growth over the past couple of years and decent earnings growth for a large company. It has a small dividend yield. Some of the risks include economic downturn, environmental laws, and supply chain difficulties. I would look for at least a 10% return on this stock before I sell it if I bought it today. HINDI, Indie Semiconductor Inc. The company is supporting the auto tech revolution with automotive semiconductors and software platforms. It's focused on sensors for advanced driver assistance systems such as LiDAR, user experience, and connected car applications. I'm keeping an eye on this company. Just became public after merging with an SPAC. Fundamentals are not that great, but it has great upside momentum. Could be a good long-term, high-risk long-term play as more technologically advanced vehicles make it into the market. This is also a highly cyclical stock due to the nature of the automobile market. So INDI, Indie Semiconductor. A lot of analysts are looking at this stock reaching between $14 and $18. Right now it's trading at around $9. So this might be a good buy if you want to take a look at it. So medium AGCO, high INDI. Last week on Thursday, I mentioned acretrader.com, a website where you can purchase parcels of a parcel of farmland. So if you want to take a look at that one, that was the low for Thursday of last week, acretrader.com, if that's something that you're interested in, if you want to buy some land. So there you have it, AGCO and INDI, the stocks to research for today. All right, but the best investment that you can make is in the kingdom of God. Absolutely. Greatest returns that I've had in my life was when I sowed into ministry and into the kingdom of God. And you can do so today.
Oh, yeah.
Support this show and everything we do here at Revival Today by partnering with us. We feed 1,200 kids overseas every single day. We're building a church here in Pittsburgh. And if you'd like to do that, you can do #donate on Facebook. #donate and then the amount you'd like to give. Or you can text RT to 50155. Cash App, $RT Give. Venmo @RT Give. PayPal, revivaltoday.com/PayPal. We also accept cryptocurrency. Scan that little code right there. Or go to revivaltoday.com/give. And if you'd like to donate any other cryptocurrency that's not listed when you scan that code, you can call our office at 412-446-2332. Thank you, Kofi. Or you can send a donation to P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania, 15329. Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania, 15329. And then don't forget to claim your offer, which today is Check the Market mug. There you have it.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Beautiful mug that your whole hand fits into. You drink your coffee, surveying your financial empire in the morning. Still waiting for the mug, you promise. I'll get one to you, Kofi. Check the Market mug. There you have it. Don't forget to tune in at 11 a.m. today for our Revival Today live broadcast with Evangelist Jonathan. And then at 4 p.m. live with Miss Maddie Ortiz. Make sure you tune in for that. And then tonight at 10 p.m., check the news. and tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. morning prayer with Evangelist Kofi. So make sure you tune in for all of those broadcasts. And thanks for hanging out today. The mugs with my mug. I don't know, we'll have to look into that. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9:20 a.m. for Check the Market. See you guys.